everyone. Give everybody just a second to get settled into the Zoom meeting. Well, good afternoon again. I am Kim Thomason. I am the Circle Chair for the Professional Development Circle of BASE. And we are excited that you guys are able to join us here on the call today or viewing on your own time frame here at the BASE Learning Lounge. Today we have with us Caitlin Ellis, Early Childhood Education Project Manager with Stream in 3. And she will be talking with us about fine motor foundations and how we can strengthen those skills through play. As we turn it over to Caitlin here, I also just want to remind everybody to continue to be engaged with us through the BASE website and or the Facebook page for all different resources around professional development, from state conference to sessions like these. And we would welcome any thoughts or feedback that you have, and so that we can better resource you, our wonderful educators. So with that, I will turn it over to Caitlin to get us started into our discussion. Welcome, Caitlin.
Thank you so much, Kim. And thank you to everybody who's joining us live or watching the recording afterwards. I know it's a Friday afternoon, so we'll try to keep it light and interesting. We're going to watch some videos, maybe chime in the chat a little bit, and just dig into fine motor development. And I'm really excited to be here with you all to talk about fine motor development. It's just, it really is an area of early childhood education that is so foundational to everything else, because it is so central and plays such a critical role in children's independence and then, of course, learning and play. So I also thought it was just so perfect and a little bit funny when I was asked to present on this topic specifically, because I will share a quick personal story, which is why this topic hits home to me. But over the last 7 or 8 years or so, I personally have had to go through 2 surgeries on my dominant hand. And after each one, I had to go to physical therapy or occupational therapy like 2 or 3 times a week to really relearn even the simplest fine motor grasps. And so as an adult in my, like late 30s, I was suddenly having to retrain those tiny muscles. And it was really hard. I was dropping things all the time. I was frustrated all the time. I was in pain. It was uncomfortable. And it gave me just such a true, deep appreciation for how much practice and repetition and patience it takes to really build those skills. It also just made me think differently about the children that we work with and how tiring it can be, how frustrating it can be, how overwhelming it can be when their little hands aren't quite doing what they want them to do yet. So really, it just reminded me how important it is that we give kids the time and the support and lots of opportunities to practice, to build those little muscles so that they have that independence and kind of bring that independence into their play and into their learning. It's also super timely because this time of year in particular is when my hands flare up. I don't know if I think it's the cold weather likely. October, November, when the temperature changes, I start to feel it in my hand and things become even more challenging to pick up like right around now. So it brings me back to that deep appreciation that I have of what our kids are going through. And it's inspired me with this presentation today to make it really fun and intentional in our support for kids' fine motor development so that we can give them the skills they need to be successful. So today, over the next 45 minutes to an hour, let's say, we are going to dig into how fine motor skills develop from infancy through preschool. And we're going to explore practical and fun ways to support those skills across your classrooms and across your programs. So to kick us off, I have a little activity that I think will help us all get grounded in the same space and experience something that many young kids feel every day. So if you have near you somewhere a piece of paper, scrap paper, anything you can write on, and a writing utensil, maybe a pen, maybe a pencil, maybe a marker, whatever is handy. I am going to have you take that pen or pencil or whatever it is. I'll give you a couple seconds to grab a piece of paper. And then if you don't mind, maybe giving me, I know a lot of people have cameras off and it's rest time. If you don't mind maybe giving me a thumbs up if you have a paper and a pencil and you're ready to test something out with me. You can do the reaction in the React. I see some thumbs up going there. Thank you, Kim. You know, they have the reaction with an effect now. I'll give my reaction too. All right. So if anyone has a paper and a pen, what I'm going to ask you to do is take that pen, hold it in your dominant hand, and then we're going to put it over into our non-dominant hands to draw a simple picture. So with your non-dominant hand, so I am right-handed, I've got it in my left hand now, I am going to ask you to draw your very best flower. I'm going to give 30 seconds and everybody take 30 seconds to draw on your scrap paper your very best flower with your non-dominant hand. And if you're laughing at yourself, that is normal. And if it's looking a little wild, I can relate. I am drawing the stems and I'm just about done. All right. And let's finish up that exercise and pause. And I'm just going to drop a few questions in the chat. And if you can take a second and respond to one of these bullets to let me know how it went. So how did it feel? Was that challenging? What did your brain want your hand to do, but your hand wouldn't quite do yet? How did you compensate? Did you have to slow down? Did you have to grip it tighter? Did you have to use more focus? Turn your paper? Anything that came up while you were working with your non-dominant hand and how it felt. I can chime in and share my personally. I started actually with a smiley face. But underneath my smiley face, I do have a flower. I think with this green screen, you won't be able to see it. It's not good. I see a comment in the chat that it was challenging to hold and move in the direction I wanted. Felt like concentrate more. Yes, I had to concentrate so much more. I did feel myself holding my pen tighter. I also felt myself manipulating my wrist in a very strange way because it just felt so unnatural. And it felt really challenging. It felt a little frustrating. I had to go slower, so it took longer for me. So I think with all of those things in mind, just the challenges that you maybe felt during that exercise, you really can imagine. It's just such a good reminder of what it can feel like for young children who are still building those tiny muscles and that hand-eye coordination. They're just working so hard at those little movements all day, every day. And we might not think of that always, but it's a great reminder, just kind of step back and keep that at the top of mind as you're working with children in your classrooms, that this is hard for them. And especially, I know I have a 6-year-old son and he wants to be the most independent human in any room. But he doesn't always have the skills to be able to do that. And he gets very frustrated. And so a lot of our little ones that are so super independent and they want to be big kids and they want to do it on their own, it's hard for them because their hands are not quite caught up to their brains in that way quite yet. So with that initial exercise, I am ready to jump into the ECE Resource Hub, which is where we're going to kind of go through some more information and ideas about fine motor development to support from infants through toddlers through preschool age classrooms. So I'm going to share my screen and show y'all the ECE Resource Hub. I don't know if anyone has been on it yet, but it is a free publicly available website developed at the University of Virginia's Center for Advanced Study of Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Virginia Department of Education. And it is at eceresourcehub.org. It requires no login, so anyone, anywhere can click right into this public website and explore all of the free and amazing resources that were curated. A lot of them were developed at the University of Virginia, but others were pulled from all sorts of high quality resources from universities or organizations across the country. So at eceresourcehub.org, I am going to click into the About Us section. And here you'll see just some high-level information about the ECE Resource Hub, like it really did begin in the COVID-19 pandemic to offer support and resources related to children's social emotional skills. But since then, we have been expanding and growing into other areas of learning, early learning, such as inquiry, imagination, math, language, literacy, motor skills, and more. The collection of resources, again, like I mentioned, comes from trusted sources in the field to really highlight developmental skills, opportunity, and inclusion, connecting with families, and book collections. And the Hub has a true focus on birth to 5, connecting with families, and supporting every child. So I'm going to share a quick high-level video about the Hub and what it is all about. If I can hit play here.
It's clear professional development is vital to create high-quality classrooms. It equips educators with the knowledge and tools they need to help every child thrive. But finding high-quality resources and planning professional development sessions can be time-consuming and expensive. Well, not at the ECE Resource Hub. Through a partnership with the Virginia Department of Education, the ECE Resource Hub offers free, high-quality resources for those caring for children birth to 5. We've built a collection of resources that come from sources in the field. Our selections highlight critical skills, diversity and inclusion, connecting with families, and supporting trauma-informed care. Our resources also come with ready-made questions and activities that make it easy for educators and school leaders to use. They work in large professional development sessions or guided self-reflection. So whether you have 1 minute to watch a video of a teacher supporting children, 10 minutes to explore our book suggestions and story guides, 20 minutes to learn a new strategy that you can use right away, or a couple of hours to plan and provide a PD session, we're here to support you. From the start, our goal has been to support social emotional skills. But just like you, we are always growing. With the help of our early childhood education partners at UVA and the Virginia Department of Education, we're expanding our focus to other critical skills, such as inquiry, imagination, math, language and literacy, motor skills, and much more. Check out the ECE Resource Hub to find free, reliable, and effective resources that help take the guesswork out of planning professional development. Our team adds more resources every month, so don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and you'll never miss out on what's new.
So that is just a quick fun glance at the ECE Resource Hub and how it was developed and how it's kind of grown over the years to become what it currently is. And if we go up to the top navigation bar, you'll see that it's organized by core skills, strategy, library, book, and book collections. And today we're going to click in first to the core skills, where I'm going to show you where the motor skills are housed. And that's going to be what we'll focus in today with our focus on fine motor development. So if we scroll down, you'll see there's relate and regulate, exploring social emotional skills. And then here we have move with this little blue circle So anytime you see that blue circle in the hub, you'll know that that is supporting and exploring how you can help young children develop their gross motor and fine motor skills and foster self-care and healthy habits. So that little blue circle with the little guy in the middle pops up all over the place, and that's how you know you're really supporting move skills. So let's click into Explore. And move overall, the core skill of move is a child's ability to move their body to achieve goals. And this includes the development of gross and fine motor skills, as well as the ability to care for and make healthy choices for themselves. Educators can support these skills by providing a positive, safe environment for children to observe, try new movements, new foods, self-care routines, and by promoting children's independence. When we scroll down, you'll see that move is broken down into a few smaller topics. So we have gross motor skills, self-care, healthy habits, and then fine motor skills. And so for today, our session, we're going to really poke around this fine motor skills page for infant toddler, and then we'll move into preschool as well. So let's check out infant toddler where it all starts. And we'll just kind of look through some of this initial information, and then there's some great little videos that I want to show you. So with fine motor skills in infants and toddlers are really working to develop that small muscle control, that strength, and that coordination in the early years. They're developing those fine motor skills when they clap, when they stack toys, when they hold objects with their hands and with their little fingers. And these actions really do require a great deal of small muscle control, that strength, that coordination. And then, of course, as these skills are growing, kids can better use their hands to manipulate their environment, their materials, and they can experiment with and actively participate in the world around them. It takes a lot of practice, and we can support this development by giving them the time and space to do just that. So if we see here, we have this is kind of just an at a glance description. We have more in-depth documents that share even more information about the development across infants and then toddlers. So I'll click into infants first. And you can see here the what you need to know is mostly what we had just discussed and that at a glance. But then there's also information of things to consider, which I think this section is super helpful. So for infants, it says infants develop at their own pace and rate. Of course, there's such a range of development in those infant years. So not all infants in your classroom will be able to show the same degree of fine motor skills, and that's okay. The goal is to really encourage and build upon each infant's use of their own skills. So it's a lot of individualization, learning where the infants are by looking at developmental progressions, then seeing how we can challenge or support them to continue to grow in their skills. It takes a lot of time, but we want to give them time and opportunity for grasping, for reaching, for turning, for picking up objects, just as much time for exploration as we can so that they can really get used to using those muscles to achieve their goals. So when we look at these developmental progressions in infants, you'll see between birth and 9 months, infants may coordinate hands and eyes when they're reaching for, holding, stable, or moving objects. They might use single actions to explore shape, texture, or weight of objects by turning things over, by dropping things. They love to drop things. And then they might use increasingly refined grasps to match the grasp of the task. So using the index finger and thumb to pick up objects. And then between 8 and 18 months, that next level up, infants might really use hand-eye coordination for more complex actions, like they're releasing objects into a specific container. They might be stacking cups or picking things up. They might be exploring properties of objects and materials by using various hand actions like pulling or picking up, pointing, turning, and then really extending their reach by using simple tools like pulling a string, using a stick or a rake. So as you can see, this progression is what we might expect when we're looking at how these fine motor skills develop in an infant setting. To support infants and really set the stage for their success in fine motor development, there's some great ideas on the hub of what you can do. A variety of materials that allow infants to practice holding and grasping, like rattles, teething toys, tower rings, practicing that stacking and building, cups of different sizes, magnetic blocks, large Legos, Play-Doh or clay, really kneading and pinching that material. The use of small tools when possible, like during meals, is a great time for exploration and development of this skill. Music to get hands clapping. Clapping is just like such a fun one in the infant rooms. Opening and closing, maybe some finger plays there. Opportunities for tummy time really help infants in their ability to coordinate the use of their hands to push up and to balance and build that arch development. And then another way is placing preferred toys or objects just slightly out of reach to encourage infants to really practice reaching for and grasping objects. On the second page of these get to know the skill pages, you'll see that there's even more ideas on how to really build fine motor skills through intentional teaching practices. So you can observe, focus, scaffold, and keep it going to support the development of those skills. So that is the infant get to know this skill. Let's take a look at the toddler get to know this skill. You'll see it looks very similar, same layout, same flow, same type of information, same format. But for toddler, of course, there's a little bit more advanced information in thinking that their development of this skill is advancing through these progressions. So of course, the things to consider are a little bit different. So it says it would be faster, easier, and less messy if we did everything for children. And I want to just pause there and say, it is oh so tempting sometimes when we are trying to get from point A to point B, and or when we're working with 8 to 15 children in a setting. If we just did everything for kids, if we zipped up their coats, if we served them their food, if we cleaned up their messes. But it really is a learning opportunity and a learning experience when kids can do those things themselves. And so for toddlers at this age, that's their little hands and fingers, using them to button things, snap things, scoop, build, pour, serve. I just love in a classroom when they have like a little water pitcher and they're letting kids grasp that handle, pour it into the cup. It might spill everywhere, but there are towels on hand or paper towels, and it's okay. It's a learning opportunity. And the next time, I bet they'll pour it a little bit more gently and try to get the right amount into the cup. So it just requires a lot of practice, but then on an educator's part, a lot of patience. We have to just kind of let go, give up a little bit of the control, expect that there might be some mess, expect that it might take some time, and that's okay. So it says, for example, it may feel like an eternity for you as you watch children struggle to zip up their jackets. But to them, it's really not. They are practicing that fine motor control and they're learning to persist on a challenging task. So if we just let them do it, maybe count to 10 in our heads, count to 20 in our heads without intervening. And if they need help, chances are they're going to ask us for help eventually. But giving them the opportunity to really try to be independent at first, and then seeing if we might be able to help a little and let them finish. But just that highest level of independence that they can assert is best for them to develop these skills. Another thing to consider is to collaborate with families to support the development of fine motor skills during everyday activities, including feeding, dressing, cleanup, etc., and to be mindful and respectful of each family's cultural values and perspectives. Independence at this age looks very different in different homes, and so we want to be respectful of that and support kids and families in the way that makes the most sense for them. So again, with the setting the stage, there's some great ideas for activities, a little bit more challenging activities like puzzles with different sizes and difficulty, follow the leader games, putting materials in boxes and bags, closing and zipping containers shut, So just some little things that you could try to build those fine motor skills within the toddler setting. And then again, going down into this intentional teaching practices. I do love these soft scripting moments that just give some great ideas of what you could do or say to help kids develop in these skills. So you can narrate the use of fine motor skills by saying things like, this page really is hard to turn, and I'm going to use my pointer finger and thumb to help me pick up this page. And it might feel weird to narrate something like that, but it's so important for kids to hear your processing as you're working through that muscle skill development and use, and then it will help them in turn to do the same. All right, so let's go back to the infant toddler page. And I want to show you the what it looks like exemplar videos. So these include infants and toddlers. And the first one is you can support this fine motor development by describing your actions in similar ways to the example that I just read. You'll really label and demonstrate different ways children manipulate objects during play, like this educator does. It's about a minute long, so I'm going to hit play.
Build? You want to build? Where are the blocks? Can we put these away? Can we put them away? Thank you. No. No? Not done? Oh, we keep playing with them. We keep playing. You're all into it, babe.
So she is saying, shake it, shake it, shake it, and really describing their actions as they're engaging in this center free play activity. You can tell the kids are having so much fun. They're happy, they're engaged, they're independent. They were helping clean up. And also I think it's interesting to think at first glance, it's just like they're having a great time. But now that we've kind of reflected on our non-dominant hand activity and how challenging fine motor development can be at these ages, I think we can all assume that they're trying really hard to hold those shakers in their hands as they are making their music. And it requires a great deal of strength for them, of coordination, of focus. And so they're really building those skills. And it might be actually like a really challenging thing for them that maybe at a quick glance just looks like a good time. So helpful reflections in that toddler classroom. And let's head to the next one where we're going to narrate and label fine motor skills.
Okay, what happens when you cook it? You see? You understand? You can create by putting different spots on it. You can pick different colors. You pushing it in. Creating a hole. If we take it out, you need a hole. What do you think about that? You can kind of poke it with your finger too, right? Poke your finger in and make a bigger hole. And it's also the shape of a line. Oh, yes. See, you created a circle by poking in the shell. We did. What are you trying to do, Charlie? You trying to put your finger in the bottom? How about you put your finger on the spot that you put it in? It work?
Millie, this educator named Millie is just so magical. She's amazing, and she is a true expert at narrating and labeling, and that language development skills support. And I just love this video. She is describing what those kids are doing. She's narrating as they poke into the Play-Doh, as they pull it out, as they create shapes, but just really giving a lot of language to this development, and encouraging them to continue to practice those skills. And then the last one we have here for what it looks like is providing opportunities for different grips. So let's see what that looks like. It looks like this is an infant class. I love that one too. I love how when the little boy Theo waves and he does that one little wave where kids are still waving at themselves because they see other people doing it that way. But you can see there that they're holding that magic wand, which is kind of like an indication of who the song is being sung about. And it's got a really thin pole that they're holding on to. And so that grasp, as you can imagine, is probably much more challenging to children this age than those thicker shakers, or than any of the other tools that we've seen in the previous videos. So they've got an opportunity here to grip that thin handle, to really practice that tighter squeeze and build those muscles. As we scroll down, you're going to see that there are some really great book recommendations that can support fine motor development through stories. And there is always a linked lesson plan and a read aloud version on YouTube. 10 Little Fingers here. We have I Can Do It Too. Just great stories that I would encourage you to check out. For the sake of time today, I don't know if we're going to poke into them, but I can share quickly what this lesson plan just looks like. So you can see that you could use this YouTube version and then really follow along with this flow to support discussion around fine motor development and or even some of the actions where kids are really like opening and shutting their hands and developing some of those skills as they read a story. So this one, it just gives some teaching tips, and there's an introduction for this book, I Can Do It Too. So the introduction is like, there are so many things we use our hands to do every day. You use hands to pick things up, to play with toys, to eat food. And today we're going to read I Can Do It Too. The child in this book uses their hands all day long, and let's see how our hands can help us out. And then it tells you that you can pause 3 times in the book to have some labeling opportunities and narrating opportunities to kind of just keep the discussion going around this. I can't remember if it's in this one. I want to say it's in the next book, 10 Little Fingers. This lesson plan, you'll see there's also some encouraging. So it says, open them wide in the book, and the educator will say, can you try to shut your fingers up tight? Try squeezing them all together. It makes a fist. And now can you open them up and spread them out wide? In the next prompt, it will say, this child is clapping their hands together, and this one is holding them still behind their back. Let's clap together. Hit both your hands together like this. So you're kind of modeling that action as well. And then in the last prompt for this story, 10 Little Fingers, it says you're going to narrate. The child here has all of their fingers touching each other. Their fingers are together in their lap. Can you fold your fingers together? Try to put your fingers between each other or on top of each other. That's tricky. That takes some practice. And then there's a review section where you can kind of summarize your experience by saying, you explored how your hands and your fingers can move just like the children in the book, and you can do so much all by yourself. You showed me how your muscles work. There's also a section to keep it going, which could provide some more information or details on how you might explore or extend on this idea in other parts of your day or your week moving forward. So that is our infant toddler section. As you scroll down, you'll see there's also often information or targeted resources about trauma-informed care, family connection, and supporting all learners. So there's those icons there, and really great resources often that are curated from other vetted sources. I wanted to do a quick activity here, which is snowball fun. And if you still have that piece of paper that you took out from your non-dominant hand drawing, I have mine here. I'm going to click into snowball fun. The activity cards are some of my favorite, but it just says using newspapers, magazines, scrap paper, have children scrunch their paper into snowballs. So what a fun and easy activity. If you have any paper around, toddlers are going to scrunch their paper into snowballs, which for us is really quite easy. It's also quite satisfying, but it might be pretty challenging for a toddler. So you might need to support them a little bit. My snowball already went flying, in helping them crunch it up, and then maybe modeling it, and then maybe letting them practice it as well. For more challenge, the children can aim to throw their snowballs into a basket. See if they can throw them past a taped line on the floor. You could even pretend to have a snowball fight, which kids think, of course, is so much fun. And then that more support, kind of like I had mentioned, you can offer the crumpled paper for children to explore and have them squeeze the pre-crumpled paper. They could even unravel it, toss it, move it from hand to hand if it's too hard for them to just crumple it all together. There's often an intentional teaching practice at the bottom. So here you'll see you're going to help narrate or label the use of fine motor skills. And you could say something like, you are squeezing your hands really tight when you scrunch that paper to make a snowball. So just a quick, fun, easy activity that you could do anytime if you've got a little time to spare before you're heading to the next thing that you're doing. Maybe if you're going outside for playtime and you've got 5 minutes, this is a great little activity you could plug in anytime to build fine motor skill development. All right, let's go back to the main page for Move. So again, we're on Move, topic by topic, fine motor skills, and we're going to click into preschool now. So preschoolers are working still to develop that small muscle control, strength, and coordination. They're really developing those skills and activities like drawing and zipping up their coats. And they're also really building that self-help and learning skills by using tools like pencils, scissors, forks, completing tasks, drawing, building, buttoning. And we can support that development by giving them time and space, again, to really purposefully practice manipulating objects, tools, and their bodies. There's another get to know the skill page. So for preschoolers, it's pretty similar to the toddler version. But you'll see that there's additional ideas here for setting the stage and also going down into the intentional teaching practices. So be sure to check that out for some great ideas to support the fine motor development of preschoolers in your classroom. And then I want to take a look at the what it looks like videos for preschool. So for preschool, we have the first video, which is only about 30 seconds long. I love that these videos are super short and to the point and just great, quick exemplar videos. Most of them are under 2 minutes. So in the what it looks like section on any page, not just fine motor development, you can just watch a 1-minute video and just have a great glimpse into how to support the skill in a really high quality way. So the balance, support, and challenge is find the right amount of support to help children be successful without taking over. So we can modify activities so that children can complete them as independently as possible. Let's take a look at how this teacher does just that. And we'll see you. Okay, how about right. So you can see here that the educator is not just having him do it completely on his own and be completely independent, because then he might not be super successful. So she is holding that cloth down, helping him turn it a little bit, helping him point to the areas where he might go, but letting him completely hold it on his own, completely push and pull it through. So she's giving him that level of challenge as well. So she's hitting that sweet spot where this child can be successful without being too frustrated, but he's still being pushed to grow in his skills and more deeply develop those fine motor skills for preschoolers. Let's look at the next one, which is encouraging trying new tools. So it says here we're going to prompt and guide children to try new tools that may be out of their comfort zone, again, providing a little challenge, such as using scissors to cut a circle. So let's see what that looks like.
Did you see the line? See the line? Watch Alex. See how much he cuts out on the line? I'm going to do half and then I want you to try. You can do it. No. Here, I'm going to help you. Shut them. Do it, look. It's hard, isn't it?
That's one of my favorite videos. I just love the look on that little guy's face where he is like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not doing it. And then slowly he gets so focused on the task because he has the support of his educator. She's sitting right next to him. She's so warm, so encouraging. She's holding it for him. She was modeling how to open and shut them with her hand. And he just keeps persevering. And at the end, his face lights up because he is so proud of himself. It took him a while. And maybe if you had 15 kids all doing this at the same time, it might make a teacher want to step in and just do it for them to keep moving kids along. But she's doing a small group here so that she can really pay attention and have the patience to support this little guy to do it by himself. So I just love this example and his reaction to the success he feels from having that fine motor experience in independence. And then the last video here for preschool fine motor development is to play movement games. So we're going to build children's fine motor skills with games that encourage children to use their hand-eye coordination. And I'll click into here and we'll check it out.
Did you say hi, Anderson? There you go.
Read out.
Eddie?
Read out.
Say hi, Josue, Eddie. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, say hi to him.
Hi, Eddie. Jason.
Okay.
Hi, Jason. Hi, Alex. What?
There you go. Pick one of your friends. Go ahead. So we still have William, Paulo, Dylan, and Darlene. Oh, and Divanche too. Thank you, Divanche. Okay, go ahead. Divanche, say hi to him. Alvin and Paulo, we are listening. There you go. Go. Thank you, Alvin. He said Darlene. So we have William, just William and Paulo.
Put your feet out, Darlene.
You have William.
Yes, William. Hi, William. Hi, Paulo.
William, can you say hi to Miss Tomorrow? Go say hi to her. There you go.
I like this example too, just in thinking if this example were shown in a toddler setting with children maybe a year or two younger, I think it would look very different. And it just kind of goes to show how fast kids are developing this control, this strength, this hand-eye coordination. In this game in particular, they really need that skill to be able to know how far they're going to roll it, what direction they're going to roll it, to get it straight to the child. And they were doing it in an order of the children who had not been engaged yet. So it had to go to a specific child. And that showed their development of a lot of skill to be able to do that, to practice rolling in those different ways. So, and making it fun. I think that that's a great way to build those fine motor skills when kids are having a good time doing it. Again, there are some book recommendations to support fine motor development and explore movement through books. There is What If, a lesson plan read aloud version, and Be a Maker with a lesson plan and read aloud version. When we scroll down further, again, there is some information on trauma-informed care and creative expression. And then also in partnering with families to collaborate in support of children's fine motor skills development. And then down here at the bottom, we've got activity cards for preschool classrooms. Just like our snowball activity, there's some other great ideas to build those muscles in a fun and playful way. I love the tiny art cards. I'm going to click into that. Kids at the preschool age love everything tiny. And this reminded me of, in my old neighborhood, we had like I don't know if you all know those free little libraries, but we had a free little art gallery. And it was like teeny tiny little pieces of art that children submitted into this art gallery box. And you could take one and leave one. And so my son at the time, who was in preschool, it was like his favorite thing to do, to make those teeny tiny masterpieces and just put them in there and see everybody else's tiny art. And it requires a great amount of skill, and it really helps them build those muscles to make things in a miniature size. So the tiny art activity card says children can create tiny art masterpieces using small materials like a half or a quarter sheet of paper and small tools. You can introduce one small tool at a time or offer a variety for children to choose from. So they might use Q-tips, a craft stick, a toothpick, broken crayons. And to support them in this activity, the intentional teaching practice here says you're going to encourage children to try new tools or grips. You could say things like, I see you're working hard to use your alligator fingers to hold the Q-tip while you paint, and you're making really small strokes. Or you could say, you are figuring out that even though the stick is small, you could still hold it like your pencil. Nice. So just some fun soft scripting to help guide them through a really fun activity to help build those skills. The last thing I want to show you all for today is that was the end of our preschool fine motor development page, but we have a section of the strategy library here too. And there are classroom strategies that give even more ideas and take-home strategies which are my new favorite thing. And everybody we share these with just loves them. And I hope that you all explore them and use them too. They were developed especially for use at home, so caregivers can support the same skill development in the same way using the same language that you are. And they were really designed to just be like high level, super user friendly, super readable, so that it's not just one more thing, but it's really kind of a fun little at a glance thing that caregivers can look over and then support at home. So if we click view strategies for take home strategies, there are tons and tons and tons of pages developed just for caregivers of the children you support. You'll see that's in language and literacy. This is in relationship skills, regulation skills. And here is that move section, that blue circle with the little guy. And so we're going to click into fine motor skills. So like I said, this entire page was developed just for caregivers and with caregivers in mind. So as an educator or a leader, you could take this URL, copy it, and send it straight home in a newsletter, in a communication app, or however you might reach out to the caregivers of the children you serve. So I just love how quick and easy that is. The page is really fun and beautiful too. You'll see it's super simple. There's just like a couple of sentences of informational text. Children use and build fine motor skills anytime they use small muscles, like to hold a toy, open a snack, or button a jacket. The best way to support these skills and build your child's confidence is to show them how to use their skills, try things at their own pace, and give them opportunities to explore tools or grips. This activity choice board for caregivers is so fun. They're meant to be things that are just probably laying around the house or already at their homes. And also like maybe not one more thing that they'll do, but maybe something you can do, for example, while you're prepping dinner. So for what's cooking, let's see what that is. I really love how when you hover over, they flip. It just makes it kind of fun. But for what's cooking, it says, while preparing meals, invite your child to help. Give them cooking tools like measuring cups, spoons, whisks, and bowls to hold and to explore, or have them complete tasks such as stirring, scooping, or opening packages. So just inviting them to be a part of that experience and then giving them that independence to grow in their fine motor skills. And then down here, there's always quick cues for supporting whatever skill it is, but in this case, it's fine motor skills. And it says some things that you might do or say to help strengthen your child's fine motor skills. So the top 3 things are to talk about fine motor skills, to let them try it, and then to try new tools or grips. So I just love how visually simple and to the point these are. And of course, as you can imagine, if caregivers are supporting these skills at home and you are supporting these skills in the classroom, kids are only going to develop these skills so much more quickly and become more confident in their ability to use those fine motor grasps to become increasingly independent and engage in play and learning at another level. So tons of great little ideas of what they could say, what they could do to support it at home. And then there's also those book recommendations that we shared that we saw on the classroom pages. Families are linked to them too, which is fun. So I would recommend the take-home strategies to support fine motor development, but also for all of the other skills as well. They're really, really a great resource where you don't have to do any of the work. Copy and paste that link and send it home to caregivers so you can support the same schools no matter the setting. And then the last thing I want to share with you all today, we're coming close up to time, but we have the ECE Resource Hub newsletter, which goes out once a month. We promise that we do not spam you. It's truly a once a month newsletter. Please check it out. You can subscribe on the subscribe page. I think it's also on the homepage. And so that's really a great way to see what's new or to see what's being highlighted in the hub. So you could check it out and use it in your classrooms. The hub is really connected to, the core skills are really connected to Stream in 3. So if you wanted to know more about Stream in 3, you can click into that top button and it will bring you to the Stream in 3 page, which is more of a comprehensive curriculum versus just these tools and resources on the hub. But tons of information here about Streamin' 3 that I encourage you to check out. And Streamin' 3 and the hub share a social media account. So I'll just show you, if we click into the Streamin' 3 curriculum, you will see, of course, now it's going to block my view here. There we go. You will see that there are ECE Resource Hub tips and tricks that pop up in this social media feed. So the most recent one from this month is about promoting self-confidence. And it shares what you can do with 2 minutes of time, 5 minutes of time, 15 minutes of time, or 30 minutes of time to build in these skills of self-confidence in this case. But lots of great hub stuff that pops up on the social media, and also other tips and tricks for supporting child development. So with that, I just want to say thank you again for having me today, and thank you to everybody for joining or for watching the recording. And feel free to reach out to the ECE Resource Hub or the Streamin' 3 team anytime if you have any questions or need anything at all. Our contact information is all on our site. And again, it's at eceresourcehub.org. So thank you. And thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Caitlin, for hanging out with us today and giving us all this wonderful information. And to those who were able to join us, we appreciate your time and in learning more about this important topic. And as always, we hope to see you on our next webinar. Thank you.